Hello, I'm Rosie, and today I'm going to talk about my TBR jar challenge for June, as well as find out what my challenge is for July. For June, my challenge was to read the first in a series, and I foolishly decided to try and read all the books I had that were the first books in a series, which I can tell you was a lot. There's no way I was going to be able to ever complete all those books in a month, but I did manage to get through a fair few. As that's quite a lot of books to talk about for one of these type of videos, I'm going to just give a brief description of what the book's about and then say a little bit about what I thought of the book as well as my rating for that book. So let's just get into it. The first book is not necessarily a book. It is Saga Volume 1, which is a graphic novel. This book is kind of a Romeo and Juliet type story. It is narrated by the child of these two people who are from different sides of a war over the galaxy. They have fallen in love, they've got married, they've had this child, and they're trying to escape the forces that deem them to be traitors while trying to raise this child. And it's just a fantastic story. There's so much world building, there's so many realistic type characters, and you can feel yourself fully immersed in the story. I found myself really enjoying this book. The artwork in this is brilliant. It's so well done that it actually captures the characters' emotions without there having to be any words on the page. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. There'll be a lot of 5 out of 5 stars in this video because I tend to round up, and if I really enjoy a book I'll give it 4 to 5 stars. And when it gets to rating on Goodreads, there's no half stars, so I always round up to give it the benefit of the doubt. There's going to be a lot of 5 stars because I've read a lot of really good books this month. I also read Child 44 by Tom Rob Smith. This is the first book in, I believe, a trilogy. However, it's a trilogy that I don't think is interlinked in terms of the crimes that are being investigated. The crime in this book is very much wrapped up. But essentially, this book is about a security officer in Soviet Russia called Leo, who finds himself wrapped up in a series of child murders that the government is trying to cover up, and these are passed off as accidents. So he finds himself on the run, and the story just takes on from there. He's trying to save his own life and his wife's life, while also trying to hunt down this murderer. I really enjoyed this book. This was another 5 out of 5 stars from me. I was basically hooked all the while I was reading it. It was terrifying, and you could not imagine living in the atmosphere that this book creates, and I would definitely recommend reading it. I read Alice in Zombieland as well, which is about a girl called Alice who grew up in a very sheltered family home because her dad was afraid of these monsters, so she always had to be home before dark. And then one day there's this accident and Alice finds herself seeing these monsters that her dad saw. It's all about her trying to find out a bit more about these zombies as well as discovering herself. I did not like this book. It was very cliched, over the top. It's nothing to do with Alice in Wonderland at all. I didn't see any similarities beyond certain things that are included and the chapter titles. It was a bit of a disappointment despite the fact that I went in knowing that it was not what you should expect it to be. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars because it was entertaining and the concept was interesting. It just did not come across very well at all. I also read Half Bad by Sally Green, which was fantastic. Essentially, it's about a boy called Nathan, who is the son of a black witch, who are the kind of evil type witches, and the white witches, which are supposed to be good. Nathan struggling with who he is as a person due to his 2 different sides, and it's all about him trying to discover himself and escape the white witches who want to keep him imprisoned because his father is the most evil of the black witches. It's kind of complicated, but it's such a well thought out story, and it takes place in England, and you just can't help but get involved in Nathan's quest. This was another 5 out of 5 stars for me, simply because it was just that good. I also read Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This book follows Tessa, who comes to England to live with her brother, but finds herself kidnapped by these 2 evil sisters, and she realises she has this special power that they want to harness for herself. Escaping these witches, she stumbles into the world of the shadow hunters. And it's really fascinating reading this book, especially after reading The Mortal Instruments, because it is set in the Victorian times. So seeing the kind of magic of the Mortal Instruments mixed with the Victorian landscape and a bit of steampunk mixed in as well. It's just really fascinating, and I really enjoyed reading these characters. I think I preferred this book a lot more to City of Bones, so again, 5 out of 5 stars. This summer I'm also doing a Harry Potter reread, so in order to kickstart that, I read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which is of course amazing. For anyone who doesn't know, if you are out there, this series follows a boy called Harry Potter who on his 11th birthday discovers he is a wizard. And not only that, he is the most famous wizard because as a baby he brought down the Dark Lord Voldemort. And this is stories about him going to Hogwarts for the first time, discovering and learning about magic, as well as trying to uncover what is hidden in the mysterious 3rd floor corridor. And it's just amazing, and it's 5 out of 5 stars because it's Harry Potter, and it was so nice just getting back into the series again. I also read a couple of ebooks this month, which were also first in the series. Dark Hope, which is about a girl called Hope who was abducted as a child. As a result, her father got very overprotective, and as a teenager she moves back with her mother, and for a school project she's looking into human trafficking, and as a result of all of this she finds herself embroiled in not only the human trafficking ring that she tries to break, but also a battle between angels. And I don't often read books about angels, I don't think I've read one recently at all, but this was such a good twist, and I really enjoyed how the characters were depicted. Hope as the main female lead, she had her strengths and she had her weaknesses, she was well rounded, and what a realistic heroine would be. There was actual sense of danger, and everything had consequences, which I absolutely loved. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would really recommend reading it. So those are the books that I read for my TBR jar challenge for June. I hope those summaries gave you an idea about each of the books and what I thought of them. This month I won't be doing what I did last year and trying to read all the books that fit into the category, because that was just madness. Now it's time to find out what my challenge is for July. I have my pot of challenges, and yeah, let's give it a shake. Oh, there's not many in here. What have I got? Read a book with over 500 pages. This should be interesting. I have a fair few options for this because my TBR is filled with books that are quite long, so I'm sure there's at least one of them that's over 500 pages, and this should be quite a good one for this month because I don't really have too much on at the beginning, so I'll probably get the book done then. And if I get to it, it could also include Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which is massive and is definitely over 500 pages long. You will find out the book that I chose for my challenge in my TBR list for July, which will be coming later in the week. I think after this one there will be my wrap up, and then after that will be my July TBR video. So you'll find out then, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!